We have no announcements today, so we'll jump straight into the trades. We got setups on Euro US dollar, Euro pound, Aussie USD, and pound Aussie dollar. And as always, we have the best trades from our Discord trading room. Enjoy. Alright, the first chart I'm going to look at is that of Euro US dollar. And I've got an old chart here that I shared quite a while ago, comparing the Euro USD to that of silver. And I got silver here on the left, and we got two similar sort of setups happening here. We had silver, we had this big daily range, and in this daily range the market came down, took the lows before it shot up, came grinding down, and then we had the big move up. Now the Euro USD is setting up in a similar fashion. This was a big 2-year consolidation before the market broke the lows, had all those media attention, and then we shot up and reversed. And after that, now we've also been having this slow grind down. Now there's one of two possibilities I have here, and I think I touched on it last week. The one is that we might have one little bit of a move lower, and eventually taking these lows, much like we did on this side here, taking the liquidity one more time before we have the big shoot up. This is the move that I was looking for, but things have changed a little bit on the lower time frame. So secondly, we could also have the low that is in, and we have our little correction forming here, and after this the market will just end up continuing higher. So we're going to look on the lower time frames and look at the two different types of scenarios and how to play them. Just moving on to the daily time frame, as you guys can see, we could have a bit of a expanding flat correction that just formed here, and hopefully we will find a bit of a correction. And if you find a correction next week, that might be a good sign that this market is going higher. First target will at least be breaking of these highs. Perhaps it could form a bit of a correction and go down lower once more, or it can just continue going higher for the rest of 2020. But definitely one I'm going to be watching next week. Alternatively, if we do make a bit of a reversal pattern, a bearish reversal pattern, perhaps we'll end up going lower then. But let's go to the smaller time frames again. And going to the smaller time frames, we have quite a clear little order block or demand level down here. So if we find any sort of corrective price action, then this will be a good place for us next week to potentially find that long. First targets will be breaking of this top, at least taking about 2/3 off, and then maybe hanging on to a bit in case we have that big run for 2020. But yeah, definitely one for the watch list this year. Alright, next up I'm going to look at Euro Pound weekly, and just a summary of what happened on this chart. We had this big bullish run up, this record number of bullish weeks to get to this liquidity point here. And after that we had the violent reversal, and it's been downhill, and we reached the next liquidity point down here. Now normally when we get to these big liquidity points, we either can expect a reversal or at least a bit of a bounce, and as long as this low holds and we get some corrective price action here, perhaps we can have a little bit of a correction at the very least before maybe going down even further. So let's drop down to the lower time frames. Alright, dropping down to the 8-hour time frame, we have what looks like it could be corrective price action here. We had this big drop down, and then the market reversed, breaking the structure where this whole move started, and since then it's been a bit of a slow grind down, perhaps forming a little bit of a zigzag correction on the 8-hour time frame. And we are currently right at this pivot level, this level over here before the market broke that, and that is exactly at the 61 fib as well. So actually last week we were looking for reversals at this point. We had a nice little move up, but the market came down and actually just cleared those lows again. But pretty much anything in this little area, any sort of little 15-minute reversal pattern that we find, I will be looking to go long and at least break these highs, and perhaps if I can use a fib extension here. The first target will probably be, let's say, a little ABC, and then targeting this 100% fib extension. As I don't really have any clear targets, I'll just use this fib. That comes in around about 0.87. So yeah, early next week we'll be looking for some reversals in this area. Yeah. Alright, next up, Aussie dollar, US dollar. This is one I looked at last year for a potential reversal, but we didn't get that reversal last year. There was some trade wars keeping this market down. But the technicals still haven't changed. I'm on the monthly chart here, and we got some really big divergence that's forming over here. the market making new lows here, but the indicators not making any new lows. And this has been, I think this has been almost 2 years of a slow grind down. And eventually, what I expect this market to do is make a bit of a retrace before continuing lower. I think ultimately the market is looking to take these lows, but it's not going to get there in one clean go. Because we have absolutely no momentum, I still believe that we're going to make a move up, at least to this 38% retrace or perhaps the 50% retrace. But this is a move that I expect to run for more than a year. So it's definitely one that's worth keeping an eye out and waiting for and being patient for. All right, and moving to the daily time frame, those of you who's involved in our live trading room, we did last year catch a bit of a long when this market came grinding down, and we caught a long over here, and we thought that potentially this might be the reversal. But afterwards, we did realize that this is busy forming a bit of a flag, and I mentioned in the trading room that we are most likely going to be taking out the lows of last year. Now, I don't have any specific reversal points. I just know that I got my alerts set here. As soon as we break these lows, then this is where I'll be watching for some potential reversal patterns, and hopefully we can find something decent and then catch that long and hold it for the rest of the year. Now this will hopefully we can match this up again with a news event, something out of China, out of Australia. Like I say, no specific points yet, but definitely one I'm going to keep on the watch list until we find that reversal that I'm looking for. Right, the final chart I want to look at just quickly is again an Aussie dollar pair, and that is pound Aussie dollar. And in line with the Aussie dollar, I do think we're going to have a reversal really soon. We're sort of at the top of a bit of a channel over here, and potentially we just took out this liquidity over here. There's a small little bit of liquidity over here, and then our first real order block, this weekly order block coming in around about the 2 round number. So we're going to monitor this next week, and maybe potentially we can find a little bit of a reversal here, and then at least we can find a move back towards the bottom of this channel. I think ultimately we're still going to go a little bit higher, maybe take these eyes, but we're at the top of this channel, so it's better to be looking for some shorts. And I do know that Australia has some news on Tuesday morning. During the Asian session, I do believe they have the Australian cash rate, so interest rate decision over there might be a great catalyst for a bit of an Aussie dollar move. So one, like I said, I don't have a clear setup yet, but this one is on the watch list for this week and definitely for Tuesday with the Australian cash rate.